is a night for a man, and that man is Tom Cahill. Tom, we're calling it a tribute night to Tom, and Tom received an award. It's called a Beco Award. I'm not too sure what Beco was, and I'm still not too sure tonight either, but because Tom won this award, he was nominated by a fellow from our club, and he put Tom forward as a worthy man for this. It's a kind of a club stalwart award. There's one of these awards given to every county, and it's every county in Leinster, and so this is actually a Leinster award, and Tom Cahill was the winner in 2021 in Laois. So,
oh, wait, Tom.
So because it was 2021 and because they were the times of COVID and everything, it kind of passed us all by and it was never be recognised. And a good few different clubmen over the years kind of said to me, this should have been recognised and it wasn't done and we'll have to do it and all that. And I suppose it was like back in that time, I think I was chairman for a while and Mick Dalton followed me around that time as well. So anyway, time passed by, it wasn't done, and I suppose, believe it or not now, but there's another Beco award that was only rare down the road from here, and he's below in collection. He's my own brother-in-law actually, Tom Scully, and he was telling me all about his award, and he was taken to Crow Park, and he got greeted for the day and got to walk out on the Crow Park side and wave at the people in the stand and everything. So I said to Tom, and I said to the few lads that prompted me about doing something for Tom, that we're going to do it. And I said, Tom, what shall we do? Will we bring it to Crow Park or what? And Tom said, to tell you the truth, if you're going to do something, I'd rather you do it in Ballarrow. And it's just, so for the Whelan family, tonight is the night that ye exceeded Crow Park and you were first choice to Crow Park. So well done in that. So without any further ado, tonight is going to involve an interview with Tom and his journey through life, and basically that will lead on to the formal presentation then of the Beco Award, and then there's a little club award here as a memento for Tom can look at when there's no one else maybe around. So without any further ado, it's going to be something in line with maybe the Late Late Show, so I'm going to give this my best shot. So, ladies and gentlemen, to whom it concerns, it's the big interview with Tom Cahill, your host, Paddy McWee.
Thanks, John, for that magnificent introduction to us, and I'm looking forward to a great night tonight, folks. It's going to be a crack and a bit of banter, and there's going to be great fun in it. So I'll open my notes here, and we'll keep an eye on him here for what's going on and where I'm to start. Yeah. So look, folks, you all know. Yeah, word. Paddy Kinky, or whoever his name is in the Late Late Show. Yeah, I'm going to follow him. But Joe Mack says to me that I'm reading Marty Morrissey. But you know what he said to me then? To take Marty Morrissey always to be makeup, and to take some of the makeup to cover you. Anyway, folks, it's a big night, and you're all very, very welcome here tonight. We're going to go back in time. You'll hear from the Ballapicus song later on in the night, and looking forward to that to be sung by a Ballapicus man. We have plenty of friends here of Tom Cahill. We have Eamon and Seamus Hall, and we're going to have a good few friends, and we're going to interview them. And there's lovely friends of Tom up here. There's lovely friends of Tom here tonight. And so, without any further ado, without wasting any time, I'll ask Tom up to the stage here, the great man himself, Tom Cahill. Now, Tommy, you're comfortable there, and nice and it looks very professional. The two of us up here, doesn't it? What?
Not yet. I'd like a little seat or a little prop to my back.
Oh, that's okay. Well, we might get to organise you after midnight, all right? All right, okay. Thanks for it. Yeah, so Cora tells us over to keep the mic up close to her mouth, Tom, the way I can hear it, you know. There's a bit of an echo there, is there? So whether we can sit different places. Anyway, Tom, look, Tom, I'm absolutely honoured and delighted to be able to interview you tonight and have a bit of crack and banter. After giving your full life to take us, hurling with him, hurling with Colton, and hear from some of the court lads later on. But, we'll start off, Tom, growing up in Tullow and when you were born. Tell me when you were born first, I suppose. We'll go from there.
I was born in 1941 in Tullow, and I never left it, apart for 1 week. I went over to England, thought I was going to, my brother Joe was over there, and I went over and was going to stay in England with Joe, and I got completely turned against England, so I came back home, and I never left Tullow or Ballyroan or Ballypicus since.
That was great, Tom, because we were the beneficiaries of that, and it was great because you're after being some club man and some community man, and definitely it was an advantage to us that you didn't stay in England anyway, yeah? So anyway, Tom, look, should we go from there? You were born in Tullow, you had 3 brothers, and I mention him now. I feel sorry that Joe Cahill couldn't be here tonight. I'd love if Joe had to be here. He's unable to be here tonight. Your late Sean, remember him, and your late Paddy Cahill, and I knew Paddy well, and we'll remember them tonight, and they'll be looking down on us, Tom, and all the rest. Anyway, Tom, you can tell me about your school days, starting off you went to school in Ballyroan, obviously.
I went to school in Ballyroan. I started in the convent school at 4 years of age, and I remained in the convent school up there until I made my first communion. After I made my first communion, then I moved down into the school down here in the corner, the boys' school as they used to call it, and there I enjoyed, I don't know whether I enjoyed the school or not, I wouldn't say that. But I was there anyway until I was 13 and a half years of age, and I went home and I said to my mother and father, I'm going back to school no more. And I made a promise, and I was delighted to get out of school, and that was my education. And what I don't think I should say these things, but in Ballyroan school, I went to school and every day was a day of torture for me. I dreaded going to school, I dreaded my teachers, and I loved the players, I loved the students, I enjoyed them, but the teachers, they always got my back up, and I was terrified from morning till night.
Anyway, Tom, you were telling me a story about that there was a four-wheel drive carriage drawn by horses came from Cullinan direction. Tell me about that story.
Yes, there was a four-wheel drive carriage. Kelly's and Cullinan had a four-wheel drive carriage, 2 horses pulling it, and they'd come every morning from Cullinan and they'd bring down the Kellys, their own family, and anyone else they could fit into the bus. And it was called the Cullinan bus, and they'd pull up here at the hall, where the hall is now, and the children would get out of it and they'd walk from there to the school, either the boys' school or the convent school. A four-wheel bus and 2 horses pulling it.
That was definitely unique. Yeah. Well, sure, Tom, we move on then. Like when you grow up a bit later, you know your father, Lord mercy on him. I heard PJ was telling me before that he put up goal posts up at the back of the field, at the back of your house, and he got poles and he put them up. And, expand a bit on that for me now.
Yes, they go up goal posts, and we went as children along with him up to John. Well, my father went up to John Bland, asked him enough to get poles to make goal posts, and John says no problem at all. Told him her to go down to the back of what we call Tom McGrath's now. It used to be then, maybe Laney is living in it now. And go down there and take whatever poles we want. So we went down with our bushman, and it wasn't the bushman, it was a crosscut. There was the bushman wasn't out at that time. But I went down with the crosscut. I saw down these poles and we trimmed them up, brought them home, put them up in the stuff what we call the stony field. And we were putting them up, my father says, you better dig them holes very, very deep now, because if you don't, the cows will knock them down, scratch them. And they got to be put them down good and deep, and they stood there. Sorry, and the same thing happened in Ballapicus when we moved up to hurling Ballapicus. We went to John Bland again, and we asked him again for goalposts for Ballapicus, and Big Earth says, John, no problem, go down to the bottom of the paddock, go over the paddock, the bottom of the doolies bottom, and get all the poles you want. So, thanks to John Bland for that.
They were different times, folks. You see, a fella had to go and get his own goalpost and everything. But Tom, Killora became the centre of the universe then, because I know myself that a lot of your friends and teenagers of your own age group landed up in Killora on a Sunday afternoon to play football. And God bless your mother, she was a very kind woman, I know she was, and she made tea for them all and fed them all before they went home. But just tell me about, what went on in Killora in the Sundays afternoon.
In the Sundays afternoon, to be our own four, myself and the three brothers, to be PJ Can and Toddy Can, to be Tom Coney and Billy Whalen, to be Tony Carter and Christy Carter, and we'd all go out to the Stony Field to hurl, and we'd go up to there was a big tree that was fell down with the thorn, which wasn't sawed off, it was too big for the crosscut, and we'd stay on there and tug out, and we'd go and hammer the hell out of one for about 2 hours.
It's a tough job for later on in life, Tom, anyway, and toughen up the cars, yeah. And then your teenage years, when you go up, what do you remember much about your teenage years? Now, when other fellows were going to secondary school and you were at home farming, tell me about that period in your life.
Oh, when I was at home farming, when I was going to school, I always was nearly the only child well, I wasn't, no, not happy saying it, but I always had money, a lot of money. Because I used to get up in the morning and I'd start off from the month of October to the end of February after rabbits, foxes and anything else that I'd make money of. And I'd have there's a man call every Friday, take off these rabbits. And at one stage I was getting 5 shillings per rabbit. And then there was another time I used to go up to the Holy Hom, as we call it, after salmon. And we'd stick the salmon. We were showing 18, 19 years of age. And we'd stick the salmon in sprongs and we'd bring them home and eat them and give them around to the neighbours. But I met this man in Abbey Leaks one day, and we were talking about salmon and different things he was talking about in Bennygorn. And he says, where do you get salmon? I said, I don't get them all right. So I said, no bother to get salmon, 1 or 2. And God, he says, would you bring them down to me? God, I will. He said, where will I find it? Down in the Vesses. Bring it down to the Vesses, he says, and give me the address and all. And God, I got this salmon, and I took it down to the man. And he goes, oh God, he says, that's a lovely salmon. Oh God, that's great, I'm delighted with that. Put the hand into his pocket and handed me a tenner. I says, I don't, home and hard from him. No, he says, take it, he says, and any more salmon you get, bring me down, he says, and I'll give you a tenner of salmon. I said, the highest poetry of any more, like.
Like you were an entrepreneur from very early in life, Tom, yeah. We'll go on up to your teenage years, we'll skip that bit, and tell me about going to dances and how you got to matches and things like that when you got into your teens.
Oh, we got going to matches, it was on the bicycle. We'd all go on the bicycle to the matches down to Abbey Leaks and Mount Rat and Portlaoise. And there was me Uncle Joe got a motor car. And when he was living in Killora at the time. And we'd all pile into this motor car. One after the other, there'd be lads looking out through the window, half hanging out through the window, and we go on to these matches. But the bicycles was the most way we went to matches. But we enjoyed it and got there and got back. And what I do enjoy about the matches with Ballapicus and Ballyrowan was the after the matches. When we come home, there was always a greyhound crack in the pub, whatever pub we went to. There'd be all sorts of stories told and so forth, and leering and giving out about the teams that we played in Laverham and one thing and another. Well, that's hard.
That's what went on in them years, yeah. And we welcome Kathleen File down there, Maureen's friend for a long life, and she cycled to Castlecomer on a bike to get her education. Fair play to you, Kathleen. Now, Tom, we won't go too far into your courtship years, but you can tell me how you met Maureen and how that worked out, and tell me all them stories there. You don't have to go into too much detail, but you tell us a bit about it.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, back in that time, I was about 23 or 4 years of age. I was in the drama group in Ballyficus, and we used to tour around here and there with a drama group. So this night we went done a play over in Shanahoe. Two on a String, I think was the name of the play. But we went over to Shanahoe and done the play, and I'd always take a dozen of stout, small bottles of stout with me, and there'd be always more beer or whiskey or things left in from Shanahoe or wherever we were doing the play. But we finished up there anyway, and we came home around 12 o'clock. There was a dance in Raheen. So we said we'd go into the dance in Raheen. And as I came off the stage in Shanahoe, no change of clothes or anything, big pair of Wellingtons at me, and into Raheen. And when I went into Raheen, I was dancing with my friend who was also in the play, and to tell the truth, I had a kind of an eye on her as well.
We won't ask any details there, folks. Alright, go ahead, Tom.
And we were having a dance anyway in Raheen, and the next thing I looked down and seen this girl down in the corner, a good bit away from her, and I looked at her, didn't know her, and I says to this girl that I was with, by the name, she was Kathleen McGrath with a name from Grey. And I says to her, Kathleen, do you know that girl down there? Oh, I do, she said. I went to school with her. She said, come on down and I'll introduce you. So because she brought me down and introduced me to Maureen. Wellingtons and all. And there's love at first sight from there on.
Well, Tom, I have to say, you made a great choice. You're after a great pair for your life. After rearing children, and it was, you're a magnificent pair together, and you were good for Tom, Maureen, and fair play to you. A round of applause for Maureen. I suppose at this stage we don't want to duplicate hands, so we're going to invite up Éamon Mulhall and Shamie Mulhall up on the stage. They were lifelong friends of Tom. They grew up with him in Ballyrone, and they have plenty of stories and everything. So Éamon Mulhall and Shamie, will you come up on the stage here and just come around this way, folks? There's a lot of wires here this way, and you're going to hear great stories about Tom's youthful years. And look, there's plenty of people I want to welcome here tonight while Éamon and Shamie's up here. Paul Dyer, you're very, very welcome. You're a great age, and we're delighted to see you here tonight. Tom has piles of friends here, and I mentioned, we'd pull down the whole place here. We'd have no. There is a chair there for you. Now, folks, I'm not expecting you to be prepared, but be prepared for the unexpected. Look, folks, I'm absolutely thrilled to have Éamon Mulhall and Shamie. They're lifelong friends of Tom. They grew up with him in Ballyrone. They were wild characters, guys. I heard plenty of stories from them. I can't bring all the stories here tonight, but there's certainly, sorry folks, there's a bit of an echo somewhere, but Éamon Mulhall and Tom Cahill have plenty of traits in common, but they have one major trait in common, Éamon Mulhall and Tom Cahill, and that's they're brilliant community men and brilliant GA men, and I want to give you a round of applause for Éamon and Tom for that. So thanks, Shamie. Shamie, you were in the same class as Tom.
I was, yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Tell me about when you met Tom first, and
Well, I knew him at school, but later on, we used to get invited up to Cahill's, and Jim File would be there too, and Anthony Madigan, just the locals, you know.
Yeah.
And we were trying to get a team in Ballyrowan together because with a few years there we were kind of ostracized after you know. Am I right then?
I'll keep them up here, that's perfect.
And we gathered up a crowd anyway. This is Ballyrowan now, not Ballypickets.
Yeah.
To gather up to revive the team in Ballyrowan because they were out of it for 3 years after they were there was an objection at Dempsey's one time and they got thrown out.
All right, yeah. But they were playing too hard or they were winning too much or what?
Yes. So anyway, they got thrown out for a few years. So we started off a juvenile team with the aid of the lady gave us a field up where where the house up there, where Marty O'Brien's, that was a field.
Oh yeah.
And the lady gave us a loan at that field, and Tom and Paddy, Anthony Madigan, Eamon here, myself, and some of the Brays, maybe Tony Bray. But we started a juvenile team because we were beaten, you know, the head over one time. We were beaten something shocking against Port Harrington, so some lads went away with it. Remember that, Tom? Oh gosh, it was terrible beating. But anyway, we came out of that to better things later on. And we just built the team, and then we went junior, and we won the junior then, and then we went intermediate, and then we kind of went senior. But the heart was gone out of us a bit at that time, or we were moved on to other things.
Yeah, but you had improved Ballyrowan. You're after coming from being out with the GA, kind of out with the football thing, to building a team. And I remember the late Michal, he done a lot for the GA. Yeah, and then Tom up in school. What do you remember? Tom with the blondie head on him and going to school? Or?
I do. He was a terrible hard man to mark. You know, you could beat him to death, and he still would come. You know, he never went down.
Yeah.
And we got beaten to death if you remember. We were on the one side now in the hurling. And I remember one day in Ballykill, and I just came to play with him. You know, I kind of doubtful a little bit, but came to play with him anyway. And Ballykill took us out of it in the first half. Just slashed it to death, and there was blood everywhere. And we got into it the second half. Well, Tom Cahill never played such a game. He just, no matter what to do with him, he kept coming and kept out with the ball,
Well, you're the second man who's after saying that to me this week, Shammy. Jim Leonard sends his apologies tonight. Jim Leonard played with Rahaneska, and he said he had such battles with Tom Cahill, and Tom would like to have him here tonight, but he apologised, he couldn't come, he had a weekend away. But he said, exact same as you, Shammy. You could kill Tom Cahill, but he'd come back and he'd still beat you.
Yeah.
And this was his comment. No matter what happened, he says, you'd end up on your break and even with him anyway. You'd never get the better of him because you couldn't, he says. But he said, Tom, he sends his apologies to you. He'd love to be here tonight. He said he had great battles with you. Do you remember any of the battles with Jim Leonard?
I do remember a lot of battles with Jim Leonard. And he was the toughest man, but he'd do nothing wrong. He wouldn't pull the time to end on her, but he wouldn't lie into you. And we were playing a match over one day in what you call him, Timahoe. And Jim Leonard was after besting me for a couple of matches. Because I said to himself, you won't best me the next time, Jim. So this boy came down the field, and that time was not ground hurling. So Jim Leonard came over the hurling and pulled on us, double on this ball. And I put him in the back of the hurl in front, I put my foot in front of him, and he buried me backside into his ribs. I left him for dead on the ground.
So no wonder for Jim Leonard to tell me he was the toughest opponent he ever played, and he'd never get the better of him, he said, yeah. Jamie, let me ask you, do you remember the sports days in Ballyrowan? And,
I do, yeah.
And Tom Cahill and the tug of war, and
Yes.
tell me about them now.
Well, I don't remember that much about the tug of war now, because, but I remember sports days and selling little bits of things for the parish, but I don't remember much. I remember about the tug of war, but I don't remember you in it. We were too young.
Tom wasn't pulling in it, but he was kind of a referee, or keeping the show on the road. And Bournemouth had a great tug of war team that time, and Ballyrowan,
Yes,
said a pull it, and they had Joe McHenry and Pat Lawler, and What I remember as being a young fella, they went to put it up a war, but there was a dead heat because the Ballerone boys were digging in. They just wouldn't, they wouldn't give in. Like, it went on for hours and it had to be kind of called off. But the sports day was a big thing that time, folks. You wouldn't remember, but it was a way of raising funds. It was up here in the Priest Field, and it was a magnificent day. It was a highlight of the year. Yeah, wasn't it, Jen?
No, I just want to say about Paddy Cat too. He was a tough little fella. And for the size of him, he wasn't too big, but they got his dog go. Just remember him at this time. And all the matches that we had up in that stony field, we were invited up to see to that Anthony Madigan and Jim Fires. We'd all go. And the next week we'd be in Fires, Culver.
On our bikes. We would go on our bikes up the Fires.
And they toughened us up a lot because we first of all we'd go hunting rabbits. And the briars and the what they call Tom Cahill here would grab a rabbit out of the burrow there. I hadn't heard of coming out.
I suppose they were different times. You young lads have some handy time now. When you're really spiked, that would be a steak left over the dead kid. I think we'd be grabbing rabbits. Anyway, we'll hand over to Eamon now and have a bit of a talk with Eamon thanks Eamon for coming down and we're absolutely delighted. You grew up with Tom, you played a lot of GA with him and everything. Folks, when I think of Tom Cahill, I always think of the great Kenny Hurn, Jim Tracy. Jim Tracy had a head of hair, the very same as Tom, hadn't he? Blondie, he'd always stick out and and maybe it was a disadvantage at times, Tom, because when the ground hurling broke out and you had to make a space for yourself, you could see Tom fairly easy because he had a grey hair. But anyway, Eamon, Tom was in the goals. Tell me about the goalie and how goalies had to remind themselves that time. It wasn't there was no handy freeze coming out with the ball. And
Tom wasn't in the goals, was he, in my time? But no, first of all, I want to congratulate Tom on this award that he's received from the Leinster Council. And you're a worthy recipient of this award anyway.
Thanks, Eamon.
But, they used to call Tom Rags Carl. Nickname he got, I don't know how he got it. Maybe Tom was informed us this night, but he was, we used to go up to Carl on bikes to do with hurling, and the hurls were scarce around Ballyrowan, and we go up there with there might be a few hurls supplied, but there could be a broken one. That'd do the goalie when he was stuck. But Tom was great organiser, great community man, and Ballypicus had a field there, just there near the Cobbler's Hill. But now it's all changed. They have a clubhouse, a wall ball, and a hurling field.
I'd say, Tom, I have to say this day, thanks to Tom for all that. I played hurling up on the lawn, I remember it well, and we were playing on the lawn, then we moved over the bridge, and Tom Cahill was instrumental in all that happened, folks. When we were on the lawn in 1985, and we talked to John Cleary later on about I was training, and so we moved from the lawn then up to the pitch. And Tom, I have to say thanks, because Eamon has after mentioned that the pitch, the ball wall, and then he got in contact with Colleen's engineering. They had an old shed up in Dublin somewhere, and Tom got in contact with him, and that was the first dressing room to have. And I say thanks, Tom, for all that work you done. Yeah, sorry, Eamon, for breaking your thought there, but go ahead there, yeah.
Tom's fingerprints are on all that in Ballypicus. I'll have to say that, He was a great man. He campaigned the country over the abolition.
Parish rule.
Parish rule, that's exactly it, yeah. He campaigned the country unsuccessfully on that for the abolition of the parish rule. But he's a great community man, Tom Cahill, and I admire him for that, you know. His fundraising down through the years has been great. When there was a bull calf or something to be auctioned, he was always up to me to buy it, take it. So, no, you have to be appreciated, you have to acknowledge the work he did for the Ballypeakis Club.
Absolutely, and I go along with that one.
Yeah.
Hey Tom, I was talking with Jim Tracy and the blondie hair you had, but remember one day in Portlaoise, a lad in the stand saw you with your blondie hair. Tell us that story.
Oh yeah. One day I was playing a match in Portlaoise. I forget now who we were playing, it doesn't matter anyway. But it was one of my good days anyway. I had very few good days, but I had this one particular good day. And I got to get a good few, I was playing centre field, and I got to get a good few long strokes with this ball. And I got this ball this time out towards the sideline, got up, turned sideways, and I drew it with big long 36 hurl. I drew it up into the square. And the next thing this lad there lower off the sideline. Well, there's someone marked to how grey-haired fucker.
They're great memories, Eamon and Jamie. And just interested. Go ahead. Do you have another story, have you, Eamon?
No, it wasn't grey hair at that time, it was blonde. Was it?
I told you, he looked like Jim Tracy, sure, I told you. Yeah.
You still retained it, don't you?
Do I?
Around there.
Well, he thought it was grey anyway.
He didn't want to praise you. Tom, was there any refs you liked or didn't like, or what way did you go that way with the refs?
I know, I had no arguments with refs. I had no real big arguments with refs, but I remember one day we were playing back in the 60s, the early 60s, and Peter Wallace Senior and Christy Wallace were playing, and we were playing Commerce, or not Commerce, Castletown in the intermediate final. That's what I thought, in the intermediate final. And we got to Christy Wallace centre field, Peter Wallace was centre back, and I was left half back. But anyway, Christy Wallace was getting hard to put this big lad in the middle of the field. And we got the next thing, this ball was dropping down the field, and the man drew about 400 the ball, hit Christy in the side of the head, and Christy had to be rushed off to hospital. There was blood everywhere, and blood streaming. They had to be took by an ambulance off the hospital. And they got the selectors then said, Tom Cahill, he said, go over there, you're winning that man now, I said, and you look after him. So I went in and this that anyway, I had to have a go at him, and I certainly I wasn't strong enough for him at all. And we got the next thing, Peter Wallace comes up to me. Tom, he says, you go back in centre back now and let me play, let me mark this for 3 minutes. We got Peter studying beside him anyway, and the next thing, this ball was popped out. Your man put up the hand for the ball. Peter drew in the back of his hand here, then pitched the back of his hand. He had to go down, the ambulance had to be called to take him out. But when he went into the hospital, Christy Wallace was in casualty with a bandage around his head, and he looked at this lad coming in. Thank God, says Christy, and young well, you wouldn't be long after me.
So ways you can appreciate the weren't simple hurlers back then, but well for ground hurling. At this stage now, we're thanks Eamon and thanks Jamie for that introduction. And in the interest of the night, we could have plenty of more stories to tell about. We have other lads come up here. Now we want to invite up John Galvin and George Dalton up here, and we're going to talk about when Tom had to go to court. Yeah. And just while they're coming up here, there's plenty of friends that Tom is around here, and I'm delighted to see him here tonight. We have a great crowd, and thanks ever so much for the appreciation of coming to appreciate Tom. And we have the Maestro King here near me, Jim Welsh is here in the corner. We have Jack O'Shea just around there, and as time goes on, folks, I'll mention more on this next. And Betty G, you're very welcome. You laboured a long time with Tom Cahill as well, and you're very, very welcome as well. So now we're going to move on, folks, to a time when Ballypeakis didn't have a team, or Tom can tell us here what happened in Ballypeakis that they didn't have a team for here, and Tom Cahill and Paddy Cahill two Purcells and Eamon Hall had to go over to play with Cold. So Tom, you can tell us what happened, and that would start from there.
Well, what happened in my recollection was, first of all, PJ Cahill got married, and he was the backbone of Ballyficus. He was a great hurler, and he was the secretary, and he was treasurer, and he was everything. He was running the club. So he got married and hiked it off down to Cork and left the club there. And Christy Wallace headed off to England, and Jim Early, and different ones went different places, and we weren't able to feed a team. So we were left with no one. And the next thing, someone contacted us from Court. I can't say who it was, either Billy Donovan or Billy Morgan. I don't know which to go hurl with Court. So we hummed and hawed for a while anyway, and we said to him, we'll go hurl with Court on one condition. What's that today? That if the team in Ballyficus ever starts up again, you let us come back without any fighting over transfers. So because we went under them conditions, and when the team started up in Ballyficus, we told the coach we were coming back, and they signed all the transfers we wanted, and fair play to them. But when I was over there, we won the county final with them. So that was a big pain as well.
Well done, Tom. John Gavin, I'm going to give you the mic there now. John, you can tell us your recollection of the whole thing with Carls and two Purcells and Eamon Hall going to Cold, and I'll give you the mic there and work away.
First of all, Paddy, I'd like to, I'm glad to get the opportunity to thank all the lads that came across the court from Ballyrowan and Ballyficus. And we were glad as well, them lads. And they were only, Tom and the boys were only in court 1 year. And the next thing, we were in a county final. And the week of the final, the boys at the top decided we should get a trainer that week. So we got an army trainer the week of the final. But we were lucky, we got 2 cars, we got 2 horses, and Eamon Hall, and there were some astroturfs, you know.
That was in 1971, and as it happened, Tom, there was some Ballyficus lads went to Bannakill. They played Bannakill in the final. So who played with Bannakill that day?
Well, Peter Wallace was one of the men who went to Bannakill, and I don't think Christy Wallace did. Peter did anyway. I'm not actually sure who else went to Bannakill. I think Peter Wallace was nearly the only one. I'm not sure, Paddy.
Tom Carr wasn't only Ballyficus man that went to Cold in his time, of course.
Oh no, he wasn't, but Tom was willing there how the Ballyficus lads could be overtossed, but I have a strong feeling it was Mick Murray, I think, because anything stirred up around, if there was no stuff around, Mick was on for it. You know, Mick was a very good man to persuade someone that he wanted something done. I think Tom, that could have been
Oh, gotcha. We have to, thanks to Mick Murray, he was a great community man here. Stephen Bernie, and was there another brother, Bernie Bernie Murray, the Murrays, and I would say thanks to them. There's some of the sons of the Murrays, Lorraine and them here tonight, and Mick Murray, and I remember Mick Murray playing in the final with Colt against Bannakill, and it was tough stuff. Billy Delaney was marking, and Billy hurled with Ballyficus 1 year as well, and he's Mick McKeown's father-in-law, but I don't think Mick, you ever saw him hurling, but Willie Delaney was some hurler. He played with Laois, and he was unfortunate, he lost his eye the last game he played with Laois. He got to the Slipper die, and he lost it, but I remember distinctly a magnificent duo between Mick Murray and Billy Delaney. It must have been around the early 70s as well. But anyway, John, we'll go back to that. But there was a Colt or a Ballyficus man went over there and got a woman on your place as well, of course.
Exactly, yeah. And came over to us and got a nice woman in Court and all. And we said, this was a few years after now. We said we were looking forward to this man. I named no John O'Dea, but John O'Dea is instrumental in setting up this as well. And John, then when Ballyficus in the final, what does he do? He comes along with a big flag and plants it on the middle of the court.
Fair play to you, John. Was it Billy O'Donovan came to Tom and Paddy, would you think, or who was it came to Tom and Paddy to invite him to come over?
I was a strong feeling was Mick Murray.
Mick Murray, yeah, said that already, yeah. Well, Tom.
I remember there were two men come up in Tower Yard that invited us and asked us now to go over to Coleman. There was two of them there and they stood in the yard. I'd say one of them was Mick Murray, all right, and the other was either Billy Morgan or Billy Dunn. I'd say it was Billy Morgan.
Tom was the first name on the call sheet when they were picking the team. And the second name was Paddy Carr, late Paddy Carr. But I can tell you, Tom was safe in the goal with Paddy Carr in front of him. Paddy rendered a full forward useless because he'd tie him up every way he could without fouling him. His legs and arms. And he'd eventually clear the ball, you know, but Thomas did say he'd have to get out of goals when he got the ball and get out. But the full forward job in was to get a belt of the order and put him into the back of the net. But there's no hope of that happening with Paddy in front of Tom. And we had Joe as well later on, which we were glad of as well, a good hurler.
Yeah, that was magnificent. So when they were in the hurl, it was great. That they went to. No, I remember I actually was lucky enough to hurl with Paddy Cahill, and the best small man I ever saw hurl. Talent, toughness, you know, and I remember him, and it was magnificent. George, we're going to be you the mic. You can tell us, George. But anyway, I'm going to ask you first of all. You sold cars to Tom Cahill's father and Toddy Cahill's father. Tell us about what kind of cars you sold him.
I just wanted. I can go back to that match, that intermediate final with yourselves. I remember Christy Wallace getting knocked out that day. And I remember, I can name, I won't name the other man that got knocked out. But that was a dirty stroke. I was dead opposite centre of the field when Christy Wallace got that belt that day. It was terrible. That was terrible, Tom. You know.
Yeah.
And when you switched.
And it was a good big old ground hurling just to break out then, George. You had to look after yourself, yeah?
That wasn't ground hurling that day.
But John Gavin told me that before they played the cold match, you were doing a warm up. He said there was something like what Brian Cody had going on. You wouldn't have a whistle or anything, and you'd let her. Well, I heard it wasn't too simple. You injured Tom one day before.
Do you remember that, Tom?
I do remember well, and it still affects me.
Oh, that's terrible. No, we had a bit of a puck around, and we're playing the senior final against Trinidad. And Tom went out to the sideline for his ball, and the ball dropped, and Tom just put out his leg to guard the hit, and I ran into him and damaged Tom's knee. We hadn't Tom for the semi-final. If we had to have Tom that day, we definitely had won the county final.
That was an unfortunate thing to happen, George.
Yeah. It tells me it's still affected.
I'm still affected. The cartridge in my knee, when that happened, I went to Mickey Brennan and Mo over there, Vaughan Centre at the time, and he examined my knee and he says, Tom, your cartridge is after going out and going back in. And he says, you're going to be troubled with that for your lifetime if you don't have an operation on it. And I was busy between hurling and football and farming and looking after my wife. And one thing and another, I said I wasn't going to have an operation. So I hurled and kicked football in the goals. I had to go back in the goals after that everywhere. And every now and again my knee would go out. And I got several and many frees up on account of it. When my cartridge in my knee go out, I say, oh fuck! The referee would think there was something after giving you a man to give me, he got a whistle and give me a free.
Like James Fair played, he told me played for a lot of years after that, and I tell you one thing, your knee didn't affect you, but some opponents' knees did affect them after that. Yeah. Anyway, George, tell us about these cars you sold to Tom's father and.
I remember that was the 60 and 60 I sold it on MIO 80. That was a beautiful car. If you had it today, it's about 10 grand.
And tell me any more about this hurling, man. Yourself and your brother Mick was playing with him, of course. And
I was corner forward that day against Trinidad, and Johnny was full forward, and Mick was hurling as well. And I can blame myself on the double that day. I don't know what happened the first half, we were flying it. And Clonard had a super team, that was a great team Clonard had, you know. They had at least 5 county hurlers, and we were flying it. And I was after going in past the whole lot of them. And where Jimmy Fennell looked at me in the goals, I was only 20 yards out. And wherever way I looked, didn't I stumble and fall and let the ball fall. I should have stuck it in the net.
There's always hard luck stories like that, George.
It's
They happen
hard
in all
luck.
Ireland, they happen everywhere, yeah.
No, but the biggest hard luck story was the day that I happened to run into Tom in the field.
Yeah, well, don't be hard on yourself. Crossing meant around, so there's no problem. John Gavin, you want back the microphone there? Again, else to say there before we finish up, yeah?
Yeah, I was just looking at the table in front there with all the awards and everything, and Tom there, and it goes to show that you can achieve a lot with your own small club without going anywhere else, you know. Tom stuck to the one club here to a thick and thin when they were going and when they weren't, and it goes to show you that, you know, the success comes in the latter end, you know, matter the small or big clubs, it doesn't matter.
Listen, fair play to you, John Gavin. I played football with John Gavin because I played senior football for a big number of years with Ballyrone. 2 tough men you wouldn't run into in the football field when I was younger. One was John Gavin, and the other was Anthony Purcell. You certainly wouldn't run into him. You avoid them at all costs. Anyway, George, go ahead there.
The best of luck to Tom, and I hope we have many years, and the amount of work he has done for the GA.
Fair play to you, George.
Thanks ever so much to George and we're delighted to have him here. And look, we have to say fair play to Tom. He didn't miss there here, he didn't idle anyway. He kept the whole thing going, and he went to Bolton and helped them to win the final as well. So at this stage now, I think we'll bring up the drama. Is that what we do, John? I'm asking John who's giving me a nod on it. So we'll ask John Day's sister Margaret Cook and PJ Cahill come up to the stage. And we'll talk about the drama. It's a big part of Tom's life early on in things as well. And it's great to see more. I'm delighted that Martin Lauder was out here tonight, a big friend of Tom, instrumental in the Ballapicus team and everything. Martin, it's great to see you, great to see you out, and great to see things going well. Thanks, Martin, for that. Now, folks, we're going to move on to the drama. And you know, the drama was started up purely to raise funds in the beginning for the GA club. I think PJ will be correct in saying that you know, when funds was tight in the GA club, like they had to think of something, and no better man than PJ. Tom was after mentioning his name already. So Tom, or PJ, you just tell us why you started drama and young gurus. I know you were at the time. Tell us about it.
Well, the Ballapicus Club was reformed in 1960. It had gone out of existence from 1958. And there was a meeting called one Sunday up in Astley's, the ruins of Astley's old house. But anyway, I got elected secretary, and Duff was the chairman. Now, we were a whole team of young people at that stage. Like there was 4 Cals anyway, Paddy, Tom and Joe, myself, and Toddy was there as well. And then there was the older fellas like Christy Wallace and Peter Wallace. So we had a very good team, but we were old fellas and young fellas. So we went out to play the first round in Mountrat in 1960, and Mick Whalen was standing on the sideline, and we could hear this remark, did you ever see such a team of brus in your life? Lads with long legs and short legs and big bellies and small bellies. And anyway, we bet no belly that day, like. And but there was one thing was troubling us, like we had no funds. At training in the field, like we had this little box, and everyone was expected to put in a shilling into the box, but sure, we're going nowhere. Now I was involved with Mochra in Abbey Leaks at the time, and we had just put on a play a few months before that, and I put it to the lads anyway that maybe we should start a dramatic class. Well, Tom knew no more about acting, or it was Paddy and Tom and myself, Breda Lawler, Nancy Lawler, and Breda Lawler, Patty Breen, and Breda Fenley. They were the 6. So we decided anyway to do a play, but what was the play going to be? But we said we'd have to do something funny anyway. So we done this play called Poor Jimmy. And we started rehearsing the band room, the old band room that's still up there. And I, after being in the play in the Mockra in Abbey Leaks, knew a little bit about it, like, but that was, I only done the one play. And so we thought we were going to produce it ourselves. So we fixed the date anyway, that it's going to be on this certain day. And we kept learning the lines. We knew the lines pretty well, but we knew nothing about play production. So a few weeks, maybe about 2 weeks before the play was due to go, we realised we hadn't a clue. So I said I'd ask Jim Cahill, who was after producing the Mockra play, to come and help us. So he came up one night anyway, and he got us all out on the floor, and to start reading the lines and doing our parts. And he stopped us anyway after about 5 minutes. Listen, he says, when is this play on? It's on in 2 weeks. And for God's sake, he says, what in the name of God am I have to walk myself into? You're a crowded know-nothings, he says. But I try my best. So we stuck to the date anyway. And Jim was a very good communicator, and we were all so eager. The play was put on in the Mockra Hall anyway. The Ballapicus Dramatic Society producing Poor Jimmy, produced by Jim Cahill. And sure, the place was packed out. It was 3 shillings a head going in, and the place was, I said it was probably 400 people in the hall. And sure, the club was rich from there on, and the play went down a bomb, 2 nights, one after the other. And Tom made a name for himself as Poor Jimmy.
Well, fair play to you, PJ. It's a great story, and the fundraiser. I'll just give the microphone to Margaret there for a minute. But Tom was in the 1960s, around there. Margaret, you were a good bit younger. You were in the 1980s.
Yeah.
So you tell me your memories of this and what went on, and the night that they were missing the character and all the rest. But anyway, tell me your story, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the drama in the 80s. It was around from about 80 to 90, and I remember it had started a year or 2 before I joined it. Like Peter, I was involved with Mockra, and I was doing drama with Mockra as well. And they came home one evening, and he said we'd come out to the band room up there, where we live, and do the accounting. So I can't remember, I think it was a play called Tuppence Look Down. Yeah, Dan Fogarty was producing it. But anyway, I enjoyed watching the ball, and first of all I could see the talent that Tom had. He was extremely very good in learning the lines and all parts. He was one man that, even during rehearsals, he seemed to have the lines learned before doctors, including his brother Paddy. But anyway, the following year he asked me to join it, and I was with him then every year until I think about 89 or 90. But one of the moments I remember I can recall, we were doing a play in Balnacail, and we used to do it for the Laois Amateur Drama Festival, yeah. And to be judged, there was a whole lot of places around the county were involved in taking part, and to be judged then on one particular night. And in the beginning we were judged in the Ballyrowan Hall. Then when the hall came on in Spink, then we were up there. But when it would be over then, we'd go around to different places and maybe push it on. But this particular one, I can't remember, I think it was the Mungo's Mansion, I'm not sure. Anyway, it was in Balnacail. So we were in, it was in the hall in Balnacail, and we were all in the hall getting ready for it. It was to start at 7:30 or 8:30, I forget now, 8 o'clock maybe. But I was the first to come out on stage when the curtain had got back. And my name in it, I can't remember now, I think it would have been Willie or Nellie or something, but I was the young lady of the house.
Oh, yeah.
And Kathleen Gorman was on the stage shortly after me, but Tom was to come in. I don't know if you remember this, Tom. We're in Balnacail, and it was about to start, but we were missing something. Now, there was a table set there, and I was to pamper around with the table. And then Tom was to walk in, and Kathleen was to come in then kind of quickly after Tom. But in the meantime, Kathleen had forgotten something, or somebody had forgotten something. And I think Kathleen went to either Mrs. Hammond's or over to the ladies' pub, the massive lady, because something was forgotten. But the curtain, Kathleen has got, the curtain went back, and out I came, and I set the table, fixed the tablecloth and everything. And then Tom walked in, and he was carrying a bunch of sticks. So Kathleen happened to come, and I knew that she was to come in. I was okay, I could potter around. But Tom was there, and he was calling her, I think it was Nellie or something, and he was calling her, Nellie, Nellie. And he turned around and he looked, and he went over to the table, the other side of her, and he took a big slug out of a jug of milk, milk was all down, and he got his sleeve, and he went like this, and he was able to improvise for the boy that was there when she wasn't. Called her again, and he turned around and he said to the audience, you might as well be talking to the wall.
Fair play to you, Tom.
When he carried on, I found that about Tom. He could improvise no matter where anybody was stuck. If somebody left out lines, Tom always put in something, and sometimes his little word would be the cue to the one to go. You know, there was no, he was very professional. He was very good in his lines and in keeping the thing moving, and it wasn't noticed. The thing went on because we were all so excited after the judging that we could go ahead.
Well, thanks for that, Margaret. Tom, thanks, Margaret, for that. Tom, tell us about the night you went to Raheen. You went over to Raheen, and the Whisker Whelan was in charge of the hall, but when it went over there, all the props was on the left-hand side, and the Ballapicas lads needed to come in from the left-hand side, and there was a problem because the props were up against them. Tell me, Tom, what you had to do to organise this play that night.
We were going over to do the play in Raheen's. We were right over one night early in the week to have a look at the stage. We went over, had a look at it anyway, and Jim Whistler Whalen was looking up after the hall over there. He was the manager of the hall, and he says, there's a stage now, and the curtain's pulled here and the curtain's pulled there, and there's chairs there and one thing and another. And God says, I designed the one thing wrong now. And he says, what's that? Says, the door is on the wrong side of the stage. Say, well, say we want a door on that side as well, but we definitely want a door on this side. Oh, and he said, you can't have a door on that side. He says, that's a permanent wall there. He says, that's a structure. He said, sheet of chipboard or whatever board it was, and it's all knit to the trusses. Well, big girl said, we can't do the play if we don't do it. But he says, it can't be done anyway. So we decided to do the play and we went over one night to do it before we done the play again. And I carried in this big heavy bag in my pocket, all up along the stage. And the Whistler sat down at the back, and we went up anyway, I closed over the curtain, and I pulled out this chainsaw with it over the bag. And I had it revved up and had it ready to go on. And I had a mark through on the wall. I stuck this chain, stuck it into the wall and went all around it like that. And the Whistler came up and he pulled over the curtain this way, stuck it in. Tom, where are you going? Where are you going? Oh my God, he says, I can't do that. It's done now, it's done now. That's the whole place full of
Fair play, Tom Cahill, like he got it sorted anyway. Margaret, you want to say something there?
I was just saying, following all those nights in the drama after judging night, we used to always end up on Catherine Connors, remember that, in Spink, and we could sing and chat and eat and everything until near early hours in the morning. And I remember being there one night, it was about 6 o'clock, and I had to put this grey stuff in my hair. I don't know what play we're doing. It was doing an older woman. I think it was one of Tom Murphy's plays, Conversations of a Homecoming or something. It was a bar scene. But anyway, when we went up to the Spink, the singing would go on, and I left, came back, washed the hair, not to work, and I'm sure these lads went home and milked cows and did the work. You know, it was just, everybody just seemed to keep going on and doing continuing on their work as well as doing the drama. You know.
Thanks, Margaret, for them lovely memories. Look, I'm just interested tonight. Give Margaret and Pete a round of applause, and we'll hear plenty more stories. We don't have the time tonight. But anyway, Tom, go ahead there.
There's one more little play we done to play Poor Jimmy. I was supposed to be a real shy farmer's dog, farmer's son, and I had my eye on this little girl down the road, and she wasn't up to my scratch according to my mother, and she was, when she was going, my mother was going to get me married to a widow woman, and which was breeding law her very leagues. So, when we arrived down, we were doing this night anyway, and there was no bathrooms or toilets or anything like that, and you shaved in the middle of the kitchen floor with a little basin of water. And when I was shaving, I had my trousers with braces like these, and I had to pull down the braces down to my waist, and I used to stand with my legs out this way, but the trousers wouldn't fall down the way. And then Breda Lawler came in and said, "Oh, there's my good-looking chap," man, he said, and all this sort of old talk, and put her hand on, and I grabbed the basin of water and headed for the door. This was and I was to go up through the door and spill the water. But this night I grabbed it, and I had another little up my sleeve. I had the buttons of the trousers open. And I got up with the basin of water, tripped over myself, the trousers fell down. and the basin of water went flying in front of me.
Pleasant sight and a memory to remember. Fair play to you, Tom. At this stage tonight now we're going to have John Cleary to come up on the stage, and Nick McKeown, and sorry now, I'm getting this wrong with John. Kieran Savage. No, John Cleary and Kieran Savage up first. Thanks, John, for that, Jeff. So John Cleary, you come up here, and and Kieran Savage come up here and have an interview about the Pickus Hurling Club. Yeah, and of course, you know, we're delighted to see Tom's friend here, Jack O'Shea, here as well tonight. Jackie, you're in with. So, folks, it's bad Pickus Hurling time. Kieran Savage, John Cleary, Liam Lawler, will you stand up here near us as well, because these three lads have something major in common. They're all winning managers. Fair play to Liam Lawler, we had a magnificent year this year, and fair play to Liam. Kieran Savage has the distinction of winning 2 finals in the 1 year. John Cleary trained us in 1985. Sorry folks for that. John Cleary trained us in 1985 and into it, and I have plenty of stories about John Cleary. I was in my prime at the time and I remember him well. And congratulations, Liam, you've done a magnificent job this year. It's unreal. Ballypickus won the junior in 1963, they won the intermediate in 1964, and they played senior. Tom Cahill played senior in 1965. So folks, we're hoping for the same will happen this time. Junior this year, and we're up intermediate, and I'm very confident that we'll perform well and maybe win it next year. But anyway, Kieran Savage, I'll give you the microphone first, and you work away from there, Kieran, that's all I say.
Well, when you think back on a man's lifetime, you think of the first time that you met him, you know, and it was back probably in the 70s, I think. I just can't remember now, it's so long ago. But Trummer played Colt in some match or other, and despite our best efforts, we couldn't get a goal that day because there was a blondie that they called, little skin of a lad. And in actual fact, he hasn't put on a lot of weight since. But in the review of the match after, we were saying, geez, if that lad hadn't been there, we might have even won the match, but that might have been a bit over ambitious. But fast forward then to, I think it was 2007, when Neil D, God rest him, and Tom called and asked me if I would consider training the team. And I was delighted to be asked, even though I couldn't say so straight away. So about a week later I said to Tom, yeah, that I'd be delighted to. So after a slow start, momentum gathered, and it's one of the great proud moments of my life that we won the one championship one Saturday and another one the Saturday afterwards, and it was a brilliant time. And the treasure of that occasion, of course, was Tom. And anything that was needed or anything that needed to be done, this was our man, as ever. And when we think of volunteerism and the way the pool is shrinking so much every year and all that, we think of a man that's given his lifetime of service to his club. It's wonderful. And I also think of the hundreds of young men over that period of time who had such fantastic days playing hurling with Ballypickets. And indeed, this is this man's legacy. It's the contribution that you made to the club that kept it going over all those years. That's your legacy, Tom, and congratulations on that.
Thanks, Kieran, for that. Now we're going to hand over the microphone to John Cleary, another successful trainer. Trained the team in 1985. I have plenty of stories. I was in my prime at this stage. But the first story I'll tell you, folks, is we were training upon Timmy Gorman's lawn. It was a late time of the year and the weather wasn't great. But anyway, we were in training one night and we had a few visitors come in the field, come in to look at us. We couldn't understand at all what these were coming in for. But anyway, they asked us, where was the moving statues? So we got, I didn't know much for our confidence, folks, to have people come in and ask us where was the moving statue. But anyway, the statue was supposed to be moving in Sprinkle time. But anyway, John Cleary, congratulations, you're a successful trainer. You trained the team in 1985. Tell us what happened and what went on around that time, John.
Yes, I'll start. You'll come to the end later on anyhow. I started one 40 years ago, next February, that I appeared there. I've been asked, and we appeared down in O'Dee's house, training. I did see Tom and I did see Tom and Hein, a few there, and that was in February. From there in, we went on training and we won the October. We won the championship.
It's very late in the year, John. Yeah.
And November we won the league. And during that time, with a good laugh, my training methods mightn't be too orthodox. But Tom, I asked Tom to do anything I wanted to do. He done it. He'd even provide a covered lorry with a couple of crates of Guinness.
Very professional, folks.
Very professional folks. Then I had Paddy's right there about the people coming in the pitch. And some smart answer, some like this smart answer, they thought the players were the moving statues. So I didn't like that.
Well, John, I remember well, you giving us instructions when we were doing 10 laps of the field. I saw John going to the back of his little lorry, was at the side. Little did I know, but it was cans of Guinness in it. Wasn't he a professional trainer, was it? But he was successful, we won. Fair play to you, John. A Galway man, of course, yeah. Well, John, go ahead.
I'm going to give Tom a praise now. In 9 years, from training Timmy Gorman's field to the clubhouse in Ballypickets in 9 years. Big change when I went back in, I don't know what year, 94. Yeah, and big change, so Tom did very good at it. But the only thing, Tom played in goals against Timahoe. We drew twice with Timahoe. And third time I begin so on to freshen up the team. I wonder where the Tom goal, I tried Tom Flynn to help that out. Tom was in goal once or twice and I wonder where he went to.
I remember them finals well, but I will tell you a funny story about them 3 finals against Timahoe. We were playing in Dora and it was awful scalping done and everything. The man wasn't shy in telling us we were to use timber anyway, whatever happened. And but anyway, I came to the late in the second game and there was a lot of ground hurling after going on, and Tom Kingston was in his prime at the time, I know, and he was playing centre back, and there was been a lot of, ground hurling, as I said, broke out, but Tom Kingston went into the full back. It was only a point in the game. There was 2 points in the game, 2 points in the game, and Timahoe had a free over on the centre of the field, and we were going to play with Dan Lawler. The late Dan Lawler was playing with Timahoe, and he says, boys, and that stars in here, pull on it. Well, Tom Kingston looked up at Dan Lawler. Dan was out around the 14 or something. Dan, come in here. This is where the pulling and when the action is going to be, come in here. No better time, he had a famous final in 85, and he played great, John, didn't he? He had a famous. Anyway.
Also, I've got to mention John Galvin, and to remind me of something there. And John were playing cold, and I don't know the Tom who advised me. Tom be centre half back with cold. put the ball away from Galway the whole time.
Work, John, fair play to you. Tactician, Galway man, very successful trainer. Liam Lawler, we're going to give you the microphone now. Liam, I want you to explain this Beco award. You entered Tom in it, you sent a letter in, just explain the whole thing from A to Z, and congratulations and well done this year. It was the most magnificent year. And I suppose if I couldn't but say, Liam Lawler's training was magnificent this year. I was up in the stand, I was commenting with a burst Kilcotton man, and he couldn't understand why their forwards and wasn't scoring. But it was due to Liam's training.
Things due to the players, Paddy.
It was magnificent. The work rate was so high they just couldn't get their heads up to deliver the ball into the forward try. And Liam, congratulations and well done, and you know, fair play to you.
There's a few people after asking me tonight what the Beco award is, and basically the Beco award is for kind of an unsung hero of the GAA, or club legends, as was mentioned somewhere else. So we were up training one night in maybe February or March time. It was dark and wet and miserable and cold. And Tom was there before training. He had the dressing room open for us and everything set up ready to go. And we went out and we trained for an hour and a half. And we came back in, the showers were on, there was a cup of tea made, and things couldn't have been much nicer for us. But I was the last lad left in the dressing room, as usual. And myself and Tom would always have a bit of a chat. Everyone else had nearly gone home. And we'd have a bit of a chat about whatever was going on in the world. And then I'd tip on home after showering and fed and well looked after. And I went home and I was just scrolling on my phone on Facebook, and this Beco award came up. And the prize was a few hurling balls, Tom, or a few water bottles or something. And I said, Ginny, there's no one more due that award than Tom Cahill. So I wrote up a letter. I looked for the letter to try to find it for tonight, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But Tom says it'll turn up tomorrow. So that's the Beco award. I suppose I know Tom a long time. My first memory of Tom was 10-year-old Liam Lawler who went up to Ballapicus for the first time. And I remember Tom going around in a pair of Wellingtons. Not sure if they're the same pair, Maureen, but yeah, that was my introduction to hurling, introduction to Ballapicus. And Tom has been looking after me and, as Kieran said, hundreds of other lads since then. So that was it.
Alright. Thanks very so much, Liam. I invite up Mick McKeown and Micheál Downey, the captain and vice captain, to come up here. Two captains, yeah. And Tom, did you ever lift the father Phelan Cup, or how did you go with that? Ballapicus won a good few junior finals, or?
No, lifted.
Yeah, but you ever captain of the junior team?
No, I was never captain of a junior team that won that. But I was a member of the team that won the Father Phelan Cup the first time. Ballapicus won the Father Phelan Cup the first year it was in progress, or in the GAA. So, but I never got to lift it.
Well, you're going to get to lift it tonight. Tom, we want you to go out around there in the front there with Mick McKeown. Mick, do you want to say a few words? You give me your microphone there. Mick, do you want to say a few words there and Micheál Downey, yeah?
Yeah, just big well done to Tom. Like, I only known Tom the last couple of years, but Tom put in Trojan work into the club. And look, a testament to Tom, I got married a couple of years back. It was a few months after the wedding and there was a knock on the door. And Tom just came up to have a few nice words and just said, anyone to get married in Ballapicus, he had something nice for me. I had a few nice words, and Tom often calls the door, and even just to have a nice few words, he has a nice word for everyone. And just I'd say, well done tonight, Tom, and well deserved. I only know you the last few years, but I have to say, you're putting in Trojan work, and long may it continue.
Thanks, Mick. John Day.
No, I'd say same thing, more or less what Mick was saying there, but the big thing is there, I know, like, players, I suppose, make a team and that, but you know, the vessel for teams and that, and the medium is Ballapicus GAA, like, and without Tom and other people, like, supporting and collecting money is the big thing, because you know, now these days for pitches and pitch lights and slitters and gear and all that, like, you know, if there's no lads out there going around house to house like Tom has been for years, you know, the money's not there, and you know, players can't play. So fair play to Tom, and thanks. I'm sure all the players have mentioned. Thanks very much for all the work there.
Right, thanks very much. So Tom Cahill has never listed a father failing cup, but now I just want Tom to stand out there. I want the two captains to present Tom with the cup, and I want Tom to lift it over his head, and I want someone to take a photo, a good photo of Tom lifting the father failing cup, please. Lift it there. This is the man now that played senior hurling in 1965 when he's lifted the Father Fell Cup. And listen, congratulations to that Pickett's team this year. I was so proud in the stand. I was doing commentary with the Burst, the Cotton man, and you know, I'm sorry for repeating myself, but he couldn't understand why the Cotton forwards couldn't run free. But how could it? Ballypickett's work rate was massive by his hand. Fair play to Liam Lawler. Thanks to the captain. Now, Tommy, you can stay out there for 1 minute, and we're going to ask Liam Lawler to present the Beco award to Tom, and just talk it through there, Liam, as you present it.
Well done, Tom. No one deserves it more.
Fair play to Tom, but this is a special reward, you know. It's presented from the Leinster Council. It's not a Laois thing, it's from Leinster Council. You know, and it's a prestige award, you know, presented, and I don't know of any other Ballypickett's man or Ballyrome man that won this award, and fair play to Tom for winning that, and give him a big round of applause again for that. We're going to ask Tom to stay out there, and we're going to ask Martin Lawler. Martin, you want to we have a little bit of work to do here. There's what is it, John Day? You can explain, John.
And this is just the Beco award is what Tom is holding there. The club also benefited to the tune of €1,000 because Tom won that award. So not only Tom, like he's talking about making money over rabbits and foxes earlier, but we made money over Tom by winning the award as well. The Ballypickett's club did. So like as I said earlier, like Tom, he could have got a trip to Crow Park. The club would have sent Tom to Crow Park. They would have given him a day out to match the 2024 winner. But no, Tom wanted to share his night out with his local community, his local friends, and in his local place where he grew up, and among the people that kind of means most to him. So like, we're glad to be able to organise that for him. And this award here is just produced by a former Ballypickett's player, and he could still be a Ballypickett's player if he wants to be. Owen McElroy. Owen has a lovely business going there in Lower. And this is just a small memento for Tom to look at when we're all gone home, and maybe tomorrow or next day or whenever. This is just to remind him of the night that was in it. So I'm going to ask our club president here, Martin Lawler. Well, Martin actually, he was club president till last night, wasn't he? But congratulations, Martin, for the last 3 years for acting in the presidency. But I'm going to also ask Maureen to come up, because I think we have a bunch of flowers for Maureen. I'm going to ask Martin to present the flowers as well. So let's Martin to present the flowers to Maureen first. So now we give the mic to Martin, and Martin can have your words and present the award.
My memory with Tom started in Abbey Leagues one evening. Ballypickett's was short someone to play. I think it was Tom and Peter Wallace, and a couple came out to the line. Come on, get in. I had no tongue, no boats or nothing. You'll do. I got in anyhow. And that was in 1960, and I I had great times with Tom's after that. We had good days and we had bad days, of course, but I enjoyed every one of them, and I enjoyed Tom's company to the last. And this is a true reward for a good man.
Thanks ever so much, Martin Aller. Tom, do you want to say a few words there about it? You can come back up to the stage here. Look, folks, we're coming to the end of the night. It took a little bit longer than we thought. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I have to say a sincere thanks to everyone coming out to show their appreciation for Tom tonight. He's worthy of it. He's after dedicating his life to the community and the hurling, and I have to say thanks ever so much, Tom. There's going to be finger food now, and there's going to be music after it as well. But just thanks to Liam Lawler for presenting that. Liam, if you weren't necessarily happy enough, yeah. Thanks John Cleary, the Galway man, the double success in training. Thanks to Kieran Savage, yeah, it's the same thing, double success. And look, guys, you know, Ballypicks have been a very successful club. They're after winning this Father Fairland Cup. They bounce back. You know, when you wouldn't expect them to bounce back, they bounce back and they win it again. And look, I wish the under-20s the best of luck in the morning. They're playing in the morning and hope to go well. And look, again, I say thank all the people, Tom's friends that came here tonight, and I'm looking around, and I won't start naming people this sort of night. But look, you know, you have to hear Tom's story, and again, folks, you know, the man that's after working so hard for Pickers, he's after working so hard for the community, you know, he never flinched, he kept working. And I say, thanks, Tom, fair play to you, Tom, for doing the great job you done. And I leave the last word to you, Tom.
Well, I suppose I have to say thanks to somebody, but I don't know who to say thanks to most of all. So, first of all, is John O'Dea. John O'Dea arranged all this, and he had mentioned it to me on a good few occasions. And fair play to him for arranging it and organising it and getting you all crowded here today and having all these men, the trainers, which I have a fierce time for, these three here. John, Liam Lawler, John and Kieran. So, other favour I want to thank everyone for coming here today. And I see Becky G down there, who was a great friend of mine, who we always go on the whole time. We argued and we fought and we tossed on an hour from Ballypicks. He used to be our hurling in Ballypicks. Back in Timmy Gordon's field. I'd like to thank my own son Declan for doing the camera work. I'd like to thank John Galvin and George Dalton for coming over here, and everyone else, Evelyn Hall and Shamey. Kieran says I'm to thank Maureen as well. So thanks Maureen. Someone mentioned here, I think it was Paddy, I'm going to stop talking now and get you going on the rest of the night. But someone said here tonight that when I was going to Ballyroan School, I was called Rags, Tom Rags. The reason for that is every time I used to come to school, I used to go after these rabbits and through the briars and through the bushes, and my clothes was always torn. So I was christened Rags. But just to finish it, at that time I was called Tom Rags. Then I was called Mr. Ballypicks. And now tonight I'm called Mr. Nobody.
Well, I can assure you folks, in my mind and the people that's here, he's certainly not Mr. Nobody. Congratulations to Tom. You know, I don't want to repeat myself, but fair play to himself and Eamon Hall. Super community men, super GA men, and you know, it's brilliant to honour Tom Cahill tonight. And Tom, I'm so proud the whole thing was broken now, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. And the last thing we have to do now, I want Tom's grandchildren, fair play to him. Tom has been very, very good to his grandchildren. He loves his grandchildren. And when I look at the who paid into the €130 tickets, every one of Tom Cahill's grandchildren is on the list, which is unreal. Fair play to Yi and Tom and all the rest. But look, it's a magnificent night, folks. We're having great celebrations, but I do want Tom's grandchildren, Tom's children, and sons and Maureen to come up here and we get a proper photograph of it. And look, again folks, look, I thank you for your patience. It took a bit longer than we thought, but look, you know, it was very important. And again, I thank all the guest speakers we had here, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. And look folks, the night's young yet. I want you to enjoy the finger food, and then we'll have Cora back playing again, a brilliant musician, and Cora, we look forward to listening to your music going forward. So thanks folks, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you.
On the 4th of November in 1709, our brave hurling heroes let our pride on the line. In a moor park, Moorleach, on a day cold and wet, Ballypickers played hurling we'll never forget. For Ballypickers, the champions, it was a great day. Now the Junior League title was the honour at stake. Sure they vowed that this time they would make no mistake. Milltown were favourites at the start of the game. Sure they played some fine hurling throughout that campaign. The champions, it was a great day. At half-time, Ballypickers were 5 points behind. McBay and the trainer says he's now got the win. You've got 30 minutes, get stuck in straight away. Please God, on the hour we'll carry the day. Ballypickers, the champions, it was a great day. On the restart net, they moved to right corner back. Jim Welsh was brought in for to lead the attack. The Bally King Maestro was quick on the dash when the excitement mounted with the clash of the axe. Ballypickers, the champions, it was a great day. No, with them in the ring of the ring, Tom Cahill. And Alan Sean both played leading roles. Peter Lawler played well, as did Pat McWee. Declan Horan, our jewel player, played his part on the day. For Ballypickers, the champions, it was a great day. Captain Tom Kinsler showed plenty of power. Billy Gordon and Martin had their finest hour. Ursel and Brennan supreme in attack. Sure the Burling neck day, he body like that back. For Ballypickers, the champions, it was a great day. Paddy Wallace, as always, played hurling with style. Joe Cahill scored a goal and Welsh was supreme, but let's give one hooray for our star Mickey Wallace, whose goals saved the trade. For Ballypickers, the champions, it was a great day. With a minute remaining, the tension ran high. We were leading 2 points when Noel Peacock let fly. The green flag was raised and we all got a shock. Sure, less than a minute was left on the clock. For Ballypickers, the champions, champions, it was a great day. Come on. Come on, Ballopicus, we need one more score. Come on, Ballopicus, we started to roar. And in a moment we'll never forget when our star Mickey Wallace stuck the ball in the net. For Ballopicus, the champions, it was a great day. Ballopicus, our champions, have come in from the cold. Our brave hurling heroes in the famed green and gold. We've waited a long time, we thought 'twas in vain. Ah, but now we're the champions and long may they reign. For Ballopicus, the champions, it was a great day.
Well, Tom, just wanted to say thanks for always doing everything for Ballopicus, and it was always lovely to see you coming to all the matches and supporting us always. And just thanks for everything you've always done for Ballopicus. It's been brilliant.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
It's great that you're being celebrated for your dedication and efforts for the club.
Hon the Belgies.
Huge congratulations, Tom, on a lifetime of dedication to the GA and specifically to your beloved Ballopicus, which you have driven forward with your passion and energy over many years. Thank you very much from the clubber team, who will be forever indebted to the Cahill family for getting us off the ground many years ago. Thank you and enjoy your night.